Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Hannah Wilson, and I'm proud to be part of the UK and Ireland Life Programme External Monitoring Team. Today, I'm going to give a short presentation about the Life Programme in relation to ecological restoration and climate change mitigation. The EU Biodiversity Strategy for 2030 recognises that the biodiversity crisis and the climate crisis are intrinsically linked, stressing that climate change accelerates the destruction of the natural world through droughts, floods and wildfires, while the loss and unsustainable use of nature are in turn key drivers of climate change. But just as the crises are linked, so are the solutions. Nature is a vital ally in the fight against climate change. Nature regulates the climate, and nature-based solutions, such as protecting and restoring wetlands, peatlands and coastal ecosystems, or sustainably managing marine areas, forests, grasslands and agricultural soils, will be essential for emissions reductions and climate adaptation. Planting trees and deploying green infrastructure will help us to cool urban areas and mitigate the impact of natural disasters. The Life Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Sub-Programme supports projects that contribute to the shift towards a sustainable, energy-efficient, renewable energy-based, climate-neutral and resilient economy, thereby contributing to sustainable development. Today, I'm hoping to give you a flavour of the wide range of project actions funded through Life aimed at ecological restoration that help to mitigate the causes of climate change or allow habitats, species and people to better adapt to its effects. We will see examples from 4 Life projects. Firstly, the 2018 Lifeorgbolt project, which is working to demonstrate the climate change mitigation potential of nutrient-rich organic soils in the Baltic states and Finland.
The Lifeorgbolt objectives are: first, to improve greenhouse gas calculations for drained nutrient-rich organic soils by including project territory-specific activity data and emission factors. Second, to identify and demonstrate sustainable, resilient and cost-effective climate change mitigation measures. Third, to provide tools and guidance for the elaboration, implementation and verification of efficiency of climate change mitigation measures policies. The project territory represents about 65% of the European Union area and 45% of the organic soils in the European Union.
So the scale of the problem we face in the Baltics is peatlands make around about 2.5 million hectares of the land surface in the Baltic states, and they emit annually 29 million tons of CO2 equivalent. So this is the scale of the problem that we face there and that we need to challenge or to tackle with climate change mitigation measures we apply. And we have to define or evaluate which are the right climate change mitigation measures that would efficiently reduce these emissions.
16 demonstration sites will be established in the Baltic states and Finland to identify and demonstrate sustainable, resilient and cost-effective climate change mitigation measures applicable in croplands, grasslands and forest lands. Adapted management can in fact mitigate greenhouse gas emissions from organic soils in the agriculture and land use change and forestry sectors, and preserve the soil organic carbon stock. Scientifically sound knowledge on actual greenhouse gas emissions is important not just for scientists and technicians, but is of high importance also for policy planners to support them in developing climate policy planning documents.
From the ministry perspective, we don't have comprehensive and updated soil information available. That's why it is difficult to make sustainable resource management decisions, especially in the land management planning. Of course, with one project, we can't solve all our problems, but with Lifeorgbolt project, we believe to obtain updated nutrient-rich organic soil information and country-specific greenhouse gas emission factors.
The project's expected results are improved knowledge base, enhanced capacity of national and local authorities, contribution to the demonstration of innovative climate change mitigation measures in drained nutrient-rich organic soils, contribution to sustainable land use, agriculture and forestry.
Next up, we move to Ireland. The Life Integrated Project Peatlands and People started in late 2020 and runs until 2027. This €27.8 million project is working with peatlands as a model for capacity building and a starting point to support the optimal implementation of Ireland's Climate Action Plan 2019. The objective of the plan is to enable Ireland to meet its EU targets to reduce its carbon emissions by 30% between 2021 and 2030, and to lay the foundations for achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050. The project is working to achieve this through the adoption of carbon-positive post-production management options on industrial peat extraction sites and the rehabilitation and restoration of impacted wetlands, thereby preserving residual carbon sinks and related habitats important to national land use change, forestry and biodiversity ambitions. They recognise the need for a just transition, a range of principles to support those affected by the transition from a reliance on fossil fuels or energy-intensive industries towards a more sustainable future. This will be achieved through reskilling, energy poverty schemes and community participation. Cooperation and co-creating solutions between government, private, public and community stakeholders is a key component of Peatlands and People for the preservation of Ireland's peatlands, but also the implementation of the Climate Action Plan. Deforestation and desertification are two of the principal causes of biodiversity loss and soil degradation. These phenomena are mostly caused by climate change and human activity. The next project, Life Neblus, started in early 2020 and is expected to last 4 years. The project is taking place in Gran Canaria, Portugal and Catalonia. The aim of this project is to improve degraded areas by reforestation using the area's endemic vegetation. Other objectives focus on testing the efficiency of different types of irrigation systems and water collection. It is expected that 100% of the water requirements of the project will be covered by the water collectors seen in these videos. The final project I would like to showcase today is the 2018 Lifeorgbolt project, focusing on the climate value of urban trees. The general objective of Lifeorgbolt is to develop and implement an urban green asset strategy for Mediterranean medium-sized cities and to implement it in the 4 pilot cities of Bologna, Perugia, Thessaloniki and Cascais. The project recognises that the optimal management of urban forests can maximise their environmental and climatic services, and that urban green spaces and natural areas play a key role, providing benefits to air quality, noise levels, soil stability and biodiversity. By developing management strategies on urban resilience to climate change, this project is contributing to the newly adopted EU strategy on adaptation to climate change. Here we can see an example of the types of actions undertaken by the project with the creation of a phenological garden at a cement plant.